Hello, everyone. I'm just letting everyone filter in. Zoom does its little thing as we wait about 30 seconds for everyone's internet to sync up. I'm sure that's probably quite an a-technological explanation as to how Zoom works. Welcome. Today, we're kicking off our session on unlocking brand and category insights from video reviews. So, by the end of 2026, and by now, we've over three-quarters of mobile traffic involves watching or sharing video. And without looking at what's said in those videos, brands are kind of missing out on the real conversation. So that's why we're here today. And I'm sure that we've got a lot more to tell you in our deep dive. We're also going to tell you about Pulsar's new automatic transcription and analysis capabilities as well. They turn spoken content into searchable, analyzable insight. And we'll tell you much more about those later. We'll unpack what this means for you, for your insights, for your workflow, and how to start using it shortly. So for those of you who are enthused by what we talk about today, please keep your eyes out for our report, which is on its way next week. And we're going to be going through different types of analyses that we showcase in that review, in that report. And some of those are on a large macro level, those insights. And some of those are kind of micro niche spotlights going into those niche areas. As we all know, corners of the internet can get quite niche. So if you want to know more, the full report's coming next week. And for the products, please reach out to your account manager or to us directly, and we can take you around on a bespoke tour. And we'll let you know if you don't have an account manager, you're not a customer with us yet, we'll let you know more information about that later on. So also a little bit of housekeeping. So if you want to turn on any of the accessibility features, there's lots of features within Zoom. There's captions, there's ways to make the speaker bigger or smaller if you want to really foreground the slideshow that we've got for you today. And let's get a discussion going. So please pop all your questions to us in the Q&A box. This keeps it anonymous to us. And you can either select to do your question as anonymous, but if you'd like us to reach out to you via email afterwards, please do just untick the anonymous box and we'll be able to answer your question in full on the webinar and any follow-up questions over email as well. Feel free to get chatting in the chat if you've got some non-question comments to make that you want people to see. And I think we should dive in to introducing everyone. So thank you everyone for listening to my intro spiel. Davide, I'll hand over to you to say hello.
Hey, hello everyone. Great to be here. Really excited to talk about this. We have our emails up here and our LinkedIn's. Please reach out. If you have any questions, if you really like this analysis, if you want to learn more, if you didn't like something, yeah, we're here to speak with you, and we'd be glad to hear any and all feedback. And I'll pass it over to Dahye to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm Dahye. I'm marketing research lead at Pulsar. Yeah, I'm really excited to walk you through what we found in this video review study today. Yeah.
Sal, I think you're on mute.
I was just saying that my name isn't Pulsar, as it says in the bottom of my screen. It's Sal, and I'm the content marketing leader here at Pulsar. So, shall we dive in? I want to tell you a little bit about Pulsar, and for anyone who doesn't know, who's just jumped onto our webinars for the first time, and apologies if you're a long time viewer of our webinar series, you might have heard me say this spiel before. But at Pulsar, we gather conversational data from all across the internet, social platforms, Google search, online news, forums, blogs, podcasts, TV, radio. I'm sure there are many, many more that we cover that aren't coming off the top of my head right now. And we offer the kind of amazing opportunity to see the conversation, to see the internet, to see social. And this allows brands to see their audience and its sub-audiences and the narratives at play that are relevant to you, as well as answering most niche audience-based questions you could think of. And we offer all that on our platform. And we also have an in-house research department that works as a consultancy as well. So seeing as the amount of video out there is bigger, more enormous than ever, where captions don't always contain the right information, humor, sarcasm, subtext, that kind of thing, I'm going to hand over to Davide to answer why social reviews and why now.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, so I'll just offer up a little bit of context into how we decided to zoom in specifically on this specific genre. I think of it as a genre really, and it's something that yeah, there isn't too much analysis yet that is focused on this specific genre. So we thought, like, why don't we go at it and try it ourselves. Why are they worth looking at it? So the video review has been around for a long time and has been around like ever since social media started, just in slightly different formats. But as the creator economy continues to grow and continues to receive like more folks who want to join those ranks, as well as like so much more investment, the product review has kind of become a very predictable, nice, clean format that folks can use to create a lot of videos. As you know, like creators are under immense pressure to create content all the time. And it lends itself to subformats like here's how this product reacts to a wash. Here's the taste test if I'm tasting something. Here's what it looks like from the inside. Here's like the day 1 to day 7 test. It's also like something that's like quite empowering, I think, for generally creators and users of the platforms. You don't need to be a creator to do a product review. It's kind of democratizing something that has used to be for experts, right? Like reviews need to be something that came from some form of authority, from a newspaper, from Consumer Reports, and now it's really being democratized and become something that folks do a whole lot more of. Yeah. There's also some macro reasons that for which they're important. And if you go ahead with the slide a second, Sal, yeah, one is what you hinted at before. Just the video is just becoming it's a secular trend, right? Video is like kind of eating the internet as we speak. It's going. Every single platform is leaning on video a whole lot more. More and more of the content that we produce is video. More and more of the content that we consume is video. This will continue to grow, and so video is kind of the new playground. The second factor is that alongside the secular trend, there are huge investments. They're coming from some of the largest brands or brand holders in the world. So these are just two stories that are recent, end of last year. Unilever announced like kind of making a lot of waves that it would shift a good chunk of its marketing budget from 30% to 50% going into social in general. And they wanted to 20x their influencer collaborations, which really portends to a permanent shift, I think, in how attention is routed to brands and to products. Walmart took a slightly different approach, and they kind of expanded like their creator platform, and they really embedded all sorts of tools within their creator suite that allows folks to get bonuses, like whenever they sell a whole lot more, personalized like aisles that they can curate. All sorts of processes that kind of make it easier for creators to monetize, to benefit, but also to find audiences for their product reviews or in general, like creator content. The third reason why this is becoming much more interesting is just the kind of analysis that we're able to run on this type of content, on video content. So video content is always like so much more richer than text content, right? As folks who work in social and audience intelligence, we're all used to like parsing text in really interesting and complex ways, but really video has so much more nuance and dimension that is really hard to capture if you're looking at the caption alone. In fact, like if you analyze the caption alone, the hashtags, and maybe some of the numbers that come with the videos themselves, such as engagement, comments, etc., you're really blinding yourself to really like what is said and what kind of context is going through to your audience. And so this is capabilities that we just launched this morning. Actually, we just announced like a broadening of the video intelligence capabilities for Pulsar, and I'll take you through a little bit more what that looks like in a second. If we go to the next slide, Sal, I'm going to just mention how this is really a category agnostic study and space. Social reviews, social video reviews are really touching like every corner of our economy, even though some industries and some sectors are much more exposed than others, right? Like, so this is from the IAB, the main association of advertisers in the United States. They're looking at the US, and this is just for 2025, but you can see that retail and CPG are really dominating, right? And this is back to the two examples that I was talking about before. We have Unilever, all the CPG brands in the world, retail, Walmart, and those folks are spending enormous amount on creator activations, but they're not even the fastest growing. So if I look at retail, that's plus 38%, like really huge numbers there. But then you look towards the right-hand side here, we have health and wellness, like plus 40%. That's a little bit quicker. We have media and entertainment growing at 39%. This means that yeah, creator activations, of which we hypothesize product reviews are going to be like a format that's going to keep growing within these kind of activations, are really going to come for everything. They're going to come from insurance offerings. They're going to come for real estate offerings. They're going to come for travel. They're going to come for all sorts of health and wellness services, not just products. So keep in mind that this is we're going to look at categories like throughout this presentation. Dahye's going to take us through like all the categories and how they differ in important ways. But keep in mind that this really probably matters to your category or your client's category as well. Sal, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so what does social product reviews look like right now? Like, we thought it would be quite fun to show you. I mean, I'm sure that you've seen on your social feeds all different kinds of product reviews, but we wanted to highlight these two as just some kind of broad examples. We've got one from the beauty sector and one from tech. We'll go a little bit more in depth into some sector-based analysis later. But on the left here, we have a platform from TikTok. And this video is Lana's Other Life. So she's got 1 million followers, and this video got 2.9 million views. But this is actually her beauty and lifestyle offshoot from her main account, which is a Roblox account, where she has 8.7 million followers, partnership with Audible in her bio, lots of prominent sponsorships. So let's just have a look at what Lana has to say.
Let's review Brooke Monk's Doting Beauty lashes. I wear lashes all the time. This is how much I spend for 4 pairs of MAC lashes. And this is how much I spent on Doting Beauty. Literally so affordable for this amount of product. The first style we're trying is called Starlit. Comparison of my lashes. This is MAC and this is Doting Beauty. I have got to put both of them on.
You see, they're very, very dynamic, very engaging videos. I would show you the whole video because, well, I like to watch it, but maybe not everyone wants to watch the whole video. I think it's really interesting to think about beauty influencers and their place in social product reviews, especially with, as we'll talk about later, affiliate links and things like that. There was actually quite a prominent case in 2023 where TikTok beauty creator Michaela Nogueira, she has over 17 million followers on TikTok. You know, in these millions, it kind of becomes kind of a kind of that's 17 times more than what Lana has here on her beauty channel. So, you know, it's a very huge, prominent influencer. And she became the center of a major online controversy after she was doing a similar lash comparison. And it came out that she was wearing fake eyelashes. It was a mascara wand, I think, that she was reviewing, and she was wearing these fake eyelashes. And, you know, this is about, gets us into the criticism of undisclosed use of paid products and using false eyelashes in a mascara review. Is that allowed? You know, a lot of people are using mascara on false eyelashes, so it's kind of a lot of influencers are coming under scrutiny for how they approach product reviews, and it's a real important to remember as a brand the fragile credibility of these creators. I want to look at a completely different type of influencer now on YouTube on the right. So this guy goes by the name Project Farm, and he's got 3.8 million subscribers on YouTube. I think it's not just him, it's a whole operation. He's got a very different style. And here he's saying that this is his most expensive review ever. He tests and tools automotive products, has over 5,000 members on his Patreon. So this is his full-time job, despite just kind of looking like someone's dad. And I realized that we have the exact same glasses. So maybe this is me in the future. Let's have a look at what Project Farm has to say.
This is probably the most expensive review I've ever put together, costing many thousands of dollars. So the question is that $500 power station just as good as the one that cost $1,500? Well, let's find out. Not all the power stations will be able to power up this 33-gallon air compressor. Not all the power stations pass the UPS test.
As you can see, I don't know if that's showing very large on your screen, that this is a 21-minute long review. So very different to the snappy reviews of TikTok, and very important as well to be able to analyze the whole thing. You know, in these collation product reviews, your product may only get a 30-second look in. It's important to see what other products you're alongside. It's very interesting to me as well. This on the tech side of things, we see this kind of dadification of the influencer, and ends up becoming one of the most influential figures in the tech landscape, in this specific automotive tool tech landscape, just by being a very passionate person in the field. And I'll pass over to Dahye.
Yeah, so It's really interesting actually. So what we look at first is the overall product review videos on socials, and then break it down by types of like reviews, and then look at what's different to each other. So one thing jumps out instantly here is the opinionated reviews massively outperform everything else. That tells us really interesting things. So audiences are definitely gravitating towards strong point of view content rather than like a neutral walkthroughs. I mean, of course, there are solid kind of like a second tier of a format, like a demo plus verdicts, or like problem solutions, or like dupe content. But yeah, the key insight here is that what works is kind of like highly sector dependent. So yeah, opinionated reviews absolutely dominated in food, while beauty is much more like a heavily driven by like a different types of reviews, including like how-tos, hauls, and the dupes, which I'm gonna show you later. So yeah, which means the review format has to organically match the sector. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dahye. And when we look at the most talked about brands in these social reviews, Amazon is obviously here leading by a very significant margin, followed by Walmart. You can see how we've grayed them out here. And this is not surprising because these are huge distributors. They're being talked about in completely different ways to the other brands here, as well as being a huge source of influencer revenue through affiliate links. They're also just huge distributors of products, and maybe won't be being talked about as a brand, but in relation to distributing another brand. So then we see a very sharp drop to Apple and Samsung, followed by Target, another distributor, and Tesla. We've got a little example of the vast variety of ways that Tesla can be referred to, not just reviewing the cars, but the whole kind of Tesla, should we call it extended universe, including their diner experience, which is a gas station, diner experience, and like a car garage all rolled into one. So it's kind of a bit of a Disneyland for Tesla nerds. And then we've got a striking detail here, which is the spread of sectors, as Dahye was kind of referring to. So you've got consumer tech in Apple, Samsung, Xbox, Nintendo. You've got entertainment in Disney, but also Xbox and Nintendo. You've got automotive, Tesla, Porsche, fashion and sportswear, and Nike and Adidas, luxury beauty, and even fast food in McDonald's and Starbucks. So this isn't a single category phenomenon. Social video reviews are the primary layer of product discovery across sectors now. And it tells us something about how audiences are using video. They're reviewing gadgets, yes, which is obviously a very tried and tested format, especially on YouTube, but they're also reviewing cars, the Tesla diner, outfits, theme parks, shopping trips, mall experiences, and everyday purchases as well. So video has become the kind of default interface for experience. But one important caveat in the brands that I mentioned here is Amazon and Walmart. So they're appearing as these dominant brands in terms of volume, and much of that conversation is about what flows through them. So let's unpack that distinction on the next slide, because it fundamentally changes how we interpret this data. So when we analyze the context of these mentions, the picture has become a little bit clearer. So Amazon is most frequently discussed as an affiliate platform, but not only are the products from Amazon being reviewed, the affiliate platform itself is being reviewed. This is a little bit meta. So over a third of the conversation is actually about earning that commission, and then talking about distribution channels as well. So it's that infrastructure that's powering the creator economy, which powers creator content. Walmart is similar, as Davide showed us up top. They have a creator platform. These conversations, though, aren't necessarily about the affiliate platform. They're about branded activity, deal-seeking behavior. We can see here 3 healthy breads to try at Walmart, but also we've got deal-seeking behavior as well, kind of that cost-cutting behavior. So that's exactly why transcribing and analyzing video content at scale matters, because it's this nuance in what's being said about the brands, not just who's being mentioned. and I'll pass back over to Dahye.
I think I might take this one, but actually,
Sure.
like the what's interesting about the Walmart example that you mentioned is Walmart's almost like a set, right? Like if you have an in-store that's accessible to, most folks who are doing, doing a lifestyle as creators, they can kind of vary their background just by going in there and kind of doing this in-store discovery, which is really speaks to that formatization that I was talking about earlier, and about the fact that yeah, this is easy to shoot, and I can just walk around the aisles and show you three products and talk to you a little bit about them. So it's an interesting distinction between the two, and something that probably Amazon can't do quite as much, even though they're talked about on the affiliate side. So I wanted to give you a bit of a sense of how we set up these search. So as Sal has mentioned, this is a study that's coming out next week, so we encourage you to give it a read. We're going to send it to you, of course, since you signed up for this webinar. But what you'll see like throughout this webinar is really a slicing and dicing of the data that we have here. We set up a search on Pulsar, just looking very, very broadly at products, review, and tested. And looked at across like all the main video platforms, and tried to pull through as much stuff as possible. Of course, like it's not all signal. There's a lot of noise in there. There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't quite qualify as a product review, but that helped us like create a universe that we could then like kind of whittle down into more relevant bits. So that was like 3.4 million pieces of content as of today. We're going to keep it running for a bit, but yeah, it's a big search that really can cast our net pretty wide in terms of like what product reviews can do. What we'll see like later on in the analysis that Dahye is going to take us through is a very, very, very small subset of that, because like handling this amount of data right now, it takes quite a bit of time and quite a bit of firepower. What we did is kind of zoom in on the most highly engaged product reviews out of this data set, and tried to learn about like what these highest engaged like videos are doing. They're doing right, what they're doing by category. So this is a search. If we go on to the next slide, Sal, I can just show like what this video intelligence that we talk about that we launched today really is. It's really about like reaching into the video itself and kind of understanding what's being said. So basically, it's a transcription of what is being said, spoken content, and that gets then parsed and analyzed throughout all the typical. It becomes like just another data source in Pulsar that can be analyzed like through the lens of emotion, towards the lens of like the entities that are mentioned in there, back to the point of different brands being mentioned in different reviews. Sentiment, of course, like we can understand the language, we can look at topics, we can apply all sorts of narrative analysis that the Pulsar is very well known for on this. It just becomes like a bigger, a much deeper and much richer context around this. And what's coming up next on our product roadmap is much deeper levels of analysis that of course like become a whole lot more visual. But here what we see is like just one of those reviews I just picked randomly. It was the Coke Holiday Vanilla, which I haven't tried yet, so I can't give you my verdict on that one. But I can tell you that for instance, this was a product for which there were so many different reviews from small creators, folks with not a huge following, who just want to give their opinion about this drink. And of course, like, drinks is something that we all have opinions about, especially folks in the US. Consume a lot of soda. We want to look into what other people are saying, kind of try to build a model of like how this product is perceived. I think this guy really liked it a whole lot better than the vanilla Coke that he had before. But this is kind of what it looks like in platform. And again, if you want to learn more, the team will put in a bit of a link that if you're not a customer of Pulsar, you can kind of get a full tour of what the video capabilities are. If you're a customer, just reach out to your account manager, and they'll set you up and give you a tour of what's available here, from the sentiment analysis to the emotion analysis, the types of language analysis that we have, entities, topics, you have it. Dahye, I think you wanted to look into this one, right?
Yeah, so as Davide outlined, for this part of the analysis, we kind of like a zoom in on much smaller subset of video reviews, which is the most engaged with the content around about 15 hours of short form, and then we went deeper. So we measured each category against the two dimensions. First one is impressions, which capture awareness, how far the content travels, and then engagement, which measures resonance, like likes, comments, saves, and shares. So as you see here, like food and entertainment to generate the highest engagement, they travel the widest, but their engagement is relatively raw, meaning like they attract mass audiences without necessarily pulling people into interaction at the same level as like a beauty and tech here. Whereas like beauty and the tech consistently like outperform on engagement, people actively interact with this content. So our hypothesis is that these sectors perform so strongly because product reviews have like a long cultural history there, and then audiences also like expect to engage, and then but yeah, they do so in really, really distinct ways. So yeah, I want to share some of the great example here, especially from the beauty sector. Sal, like if you could like play
How
the
gay is your lip balm? This is my lip balm matrix. On the x-axis, we have straight to gay, and on the y-axis, we have millennial to Gen Z. I'm a beauty editor, and I have this theory that your choice of lip balm reveals a lot more about you than you think. Your lippy goes everywhere you go, which means that it's the beauty product you're most loyal to. Let's talk about the gay Gen Z lip balm quadrant. When it comes to lip balm, there are two types of gay Gen Zs: high maintenance princesses and the low maintenance gay straight men. In his head, the high maintenance princess thinks he's giving Troye Sivan, but in reality, he's more of a Kurt Hummel. He's really brand driven and falls for pretty aesthetics, so if he's
yeah, thank
I
you.
love that example, Dahye, as a way of connecting a product with identity and also showing kind of it's almost an infographic as well, and having a metric by which you want to assign an identity to a beauty product. I think this speaks a lot to the high engagements that we see in the beauty sector.
Yeah, this is really cool. This was actually drawn by Derek Dang, who is like a beauty editor. So he kind of like mapped this lip balm matrix as kind of like described. But also, what's interesting here is he kind of like pull out sort of his like a view, like, by the way, I'm this kind of like a lip balm person using this specific product. What's yours? So this kind of like identity mapping pulls out like a kind of like a different views, but also at the same time, like viewers straight into the comment and then like start to discuss, and then, or even like share this like a clips with like their networks. So that's kind of like the community like led like a format really, really drive engagement a lot in beauty particularly. So yeah, maybe we can actually look at what content is top performing in each sector. If we go to the next slide. So yeah, as we see here, for beauty, how to content on really high engagement, like meaning this type of content like generate 6.3 times more engagement than the average types of beauty review. And then in this how to format, like creators literally walk you through their actual routine, showing technique, like demonstrating application, and then sharing like real outcomes. So we know like, influencers are pretty dominant in the beauty sector specifically, but interestingly, part of the reason why how to type of content is really taking off in this beauty sector is that creators often position themselves as like a non-famous, like non-expert. So that actually gives them more like a credibility. Like it feels less like, oh, influencer literally telling you to buy something, and then versus this is more like a friend actually introducing you to something that genuinely works for them. Whereas like for tech, yeah, you guys might be familiar, demo content is really growing in popularity, especially like a side-by-side comparison. So creators are sharing their experience, like, for instance, like iPhone Air after 3 months, iPhone Air, like after like 6 months, like showing how something actually work in their like routine or like work life over time. Yeah, and then that's also what turns it into like a real kind of like decision-making moment for the audiences. And then lastly, for food, kind of like entertaining type of review is really, really winning, especially like a reaction-led format, like a mukbang and then ASMR. They are very somatic, but like a somatic experience, it actually carries a lot of authenticity itself. So that kind of like a review content is really, really doing well. So yeah, it's really interesting to see how different types of review actually performing well across the sectors.
And the food one is I think I saw this one in the data set. This is she's like testing every single thing in her local Starbucks menu, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of a little bit more extreme on the food side because that's what people want to see, like a little bit more. It's a little bit more fun in that sense.
Yeah, and then also that's also back to the point where we see opinionated review is the over-indexing, right? Like people really wants to see someone's view and then like a thought, yeah, genuinely. So yeah. And then next one is brand breakdown. So yeah, these are the brands most mentioned inside high engaging video reviews. Just to give you like a kind of a sense, this is different from the previous brand breakdown as Sal like took us through. The audio view is more likely looking at the like overall like a product review conversation. This one's zoom in like specifically on the brands being spoken about inside of videos, driving the most engagement. So yeah, straight away you can see it like beauty is literally taking over. You will also notice platforms like TikTok and Instagram ranking pretty high. That makes sense. Creators reference the platforms themselves all the time. And then realistically, this is where most of these reviews are happening. We are even like seeing like reviewing other reviews, becoming a format in its own right. So yeah, which is really interesting. So yeah, back to the brand chart, beauty is really taking over, especially MAC and L'Oreal together account for almost half of the global share of voice here. And then yeah, this is not just because of their products being reviewed. In these reviews, those brands are actually mentioned as brand benchmarks for product comparison or like reference point. So for instance, like MAC is kind of like a shorthand comparison point, like how does this product compare to the MAC? Something like that. And then L'Oreal shows up again as a go-to dupe for luxury product. So yeah. And then the really interesting part is on the right side, looking at kind of like a language and an expression most spoken in those reviews. So yeah, the number one phrase is it worth it? That's a major kind of like a buying intent signal, often like a like a missing caption or a hashtag, and then which is followed by positive spoken cues like I like I love this, I recommend, and then negative cues like I hate. So yeah, all of this become kind of like a powerful conversion or like a risk alert when tracked in like a video. So yeah, maybe if you are a brand or like a strategist, those are exactly the videos you want to identify quickly and then potentially like amplify or like just support it like with like a paid like campaigns behind it. Yeah, and then next slide. This is the area which is getting more important as, video becomes the center of like shaping our trends, but many people really not aware of the importance of it and then or even how to do it yet. So using our video transcription, we look at the actual sensory language creators use when reviewing products. So we were able to see that visual languages like gorgeous, cute, massive, dominate even in the spoken content, not just in the images, but also texture and the touch cues like a soft, creamy, like a thick are the closest second one, especially in beauty and food. And then also what's interesting is top viral content, especially top viral video content usually delivers on both visual and then this texture like a touch cues together. So yeah, take this viral Dubai Chewy cookie review, for example. Sal, can you just play a little bit about
Dubai
it?
Chewy cookies.
Yeah,
So it
so
didn't know how much to play of the crunching
no,
sounds for you
that's
there, Dad.
really all about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she even barely speaks in the video, but the audio is almost like, yeah, entirely eating sounds. By the way, just to give you context, I'm not sure if you are familiar with this trend. This was inspired by, like this Dubai chocolate craze from a while back, which is recreated with a South Korean twist. So it went completely viral in the past month. So yeah, it's really interesting because what we just see is literally sounds like the crunch, like chew, like the stretch of the chocolate. And then the sound is the review here, right? There's no opinion and no rating, no fine about it. It's literally pure sensory experience. So yeah, this could be really, really massive blind spot worth paying attention to if you are like a strategist or like a researchers, because some of the highest performing brand moment in videos have almost zero word in them, right? And then they are driving huge engagement and then shaping how people feel about a product entirely through sound and the sensation, rather than like a traditional like a languages and then yeah types of like a behavior. So yeah, that's a completely new dimension of insight that only open up when you actually analyze what's happening inside a video. And then next one is more actually narrowing down the question. If sensory language kind of like drives engagement, how complex do creators' script actually needs to be? So we look at the vocabulary and the reading age of the top performing videos in each sector. So so let's look at this food and drink first, which is kind of like a coming in lowest. In terms of like reading age, they are just like 8 years. But that doesn't mean really it jumps down. It means they are really highly accessible. So creators rely on the words like, like a nom or yum, that sounds of like these descriptors, but which is supposed like to like convey any like a technical information, but it's about making sort of like a social connection and then shared enjoyment, right? Whereas like a beauty sits slightly higher around the 9-year reading age. This reflects the need to name like a products and the shades. But yeah, top performing videos pair that technical info with like a emotional language, phrases like I'm obsessed, that signal like an intense feeling rather than a purely like objective evaluation. And then, yeah, lifestyle is an interesting one. It has the smallest vocabulary, just about 65 words, but the highest reading age is, yeah, which is nearly 10 years. So, yeah, because lifestyle's most common phrases are conversational fillers, like, you are gonna, like a lot of like that's why. So yeah, it reads like more of a voice note to friends, casual and natural, not really a formal like, script. And then entertainment stand out as the only sector where like a creators actually read into analytical like tones and the manner, showing like some content like a benefit from being more like a structured or like evidence driven. So yeah, as we see here, like a high engagement is really about like using like a polished or like a fancy words, even like a sounding smart. But it's more about sounding human, like a building connection, showing emotion, and speaking the language your audiences actually use.
And this is just like our approach to this analysis, right? There's so many types of analysis. We do a lot of like verbal tone analysis on anything we run. I don't know, some parts of this, like recall the analysis that we always do with Giving Tuesday about the calls to action with regards to generosity that we see in mostly in text posts. Here we're able to reach into and kind of surface these things that weren't previously analyzed. And I slice it and dice it in different ways. Like this is a very interesting way to do it, but really like you could look at so many other perspectives with regards to how they structure the message that they're trying to put across.
Yeah, 100%. And then yeah, lastly, if we go to the next slide, yeah, we look at specific language patterns they run to actually hook their audience. So yeah, through our like a video transcription analysis, we tag the language being used from top performing review content across these sectors, and then you can literally see the distinct patterns color coded here. So in beauty and fashion, the transcript is almost a sea of like orange and the purple, which represent authentic and an emotional language. Creators are using phrases like, I have not seen anyone mention this, or I'm not gonna lie, showing, their honesty, and then building immediate trust because it feels like they are letting you in on kind of like industry secret, while dropping in some like a price value justifications, like comparing, 280 price tag to like a 1,200 value, something like that. And then for food and drink, the patterns shift heavily towards community-led and then hyper-authentic cues. So, like this, I tried this, you don't have to type, is captured a lot. And then they are tied with the kind of like authentic markers, like, I'm not media trained, so if it tastes bad, I'm gonna tell you like that. It's very raw, unfiltered, and highly relatable. And then the lifestyles leans heavily on kind of like a problem solving and the community-led phrases, something like come with me, and then emphasizing like all you need, something like that. So they holding sort of the viewers hand, literally guiding them through an experience, and then that could build this parasocial experience as well. So yeah, this kind of language pattern is apparently not captured when we actually just look at traditional like a keywords or like a sentiment as well. But yeah, this video transcript view literally gives you a better understanding of what's shaping culture and then how, like it's spoken and then evolving now. So yeah, I think that would be the last slide. Yeah.
This community-led section that we're looking at makes me think of, do you ever think about like if you pass a group of teens and they're all giggling about something and you can't figure out what it's like, or that kind of thing, of the popular kids and they're all giggling about something you don't know what it's like. I feel like the not using video transcription tools and not using like our new product that we launched today, is almost like walking by those giggling communities where you can't have the window into what it actually is. To see these community-led phrases, they kind of bring people in based around either identity or shared interests, or kind of like how we saw with the lip gloss, um and bringing people together in that way. And this feels like the only way to dive into what those audiences are actually feeling and why they're actually giggling, or maybe they're not giggling about the product, maybe they hate it, or that kind of thing.
Or maybe it's ironic, right? Like I think like part of the value here is not just of doing the kind of quantitative analysis. It's also like pointing you in the right direction for some qualitative deep dives. So we're reading the transcript here. That's one thing, but then like, once you read the transcript, that kind of flags certain things. So for instance, a certain phrase or a certain pattern of speaking, or a certain brand that's mentioned, or a certain personality or topic that's mentioned, that points you in the direction to dig a little bit more and kind of explore like all that context that's actually like not even just in the transcript, it's in the image around it. Because it might be ironic, it might be sarcastic, it might be there might be some feelings that you don't want to be associated with. There might be some feelings that you want to be associated with as an organization. And I think this is a great springboard into like slightly deeper dives rather than just quantitative analysis.
Yeah, exactly. Audience intelligence and social listening is so often struggled, and traditional sentiment analysis has struggled with finding, even identifying humor and sarcasm. So yeah, you're right. I think that's a really great step.
Wonderful. I think that's it for us.
Mm.
Isn't it, Sal? Yeah, I think
Yes.
we're wrapping
Yeah,
up.
this
Right.
last slide. I'll stop sharing so everyone can see us, all three of us big on their screen.
Yeah, but
Um,
really like reach out to us. Our emails are just our first name, last name at pulsarplatform.com, or just info at pulsarplatform. And tell us what you think. We'll be in your inboxes again, sharing the recording and the full study, which hopefully will be something that you're able to use in your day-to-day pitching, or brainstorming or strategizing. It's really got a lot of inputs, and this is a direction that we're going to continue to explore with Pulsar. As we said, like video is just becoming more and more important to every one of us and all of our research team and all our clients like work. So video intelligence is really something that we're going to keep investing in, and this is just we're just getting started there. So thank you, Dahye, also for the fantastic research that you've it's a all you driving that research. I don't want to take any credit for that, and Sal for hosting and adding your insights. Thank you all for tuning in, we'll speak at the next webinar.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Davide, and thanks, Dai.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.